this is Caitlin, your host of the No Sleep for Dramas podcast, where we get no sleep and survive on coffee to watch just one more episode at night. Welcome to the wrap-up episode for January 2024 for the No Sleep for Dramas podcast. If you guys have been reading my blog for any length of time, you know I do this as a blog post, and I have been doing it for many years. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Caitlin. I'm a blogger for the No Sleep for Dramas blog. And now I started a podcast. If you're listening on January 31st, I have recorded 3 episodes and dropped them all today, including the current one I am recording. Now, if you have been reading the blog for any length of time, as I said, you know I do a end of the month wrap-up post where I tell you the dramas I completed that month and my thoughts and opinions on them, and then also talk about dramas I'm looking forward to in the month coming up. And I figured that'd be a fun podcast episode to do as well. People like listening to dramas that you have completed, and then also dramas you're excited about because they have suggestions they can check out now, or they know who to talk to if they're excited about the same dramas as you. So figured why not do it in a podcast episode. So I also release this as a blog post. So if you want to go over there and kind of read it as a companion to this podcast episode or vice versa, you can do that now. Both are live. The blog post also has links to MDL, my drama list, for all the dramas I will be talking about today. So do with that information as you will. I'm kind of excited for February, not gonna lie. There's a lot of variety there that I'm excited for. And January, we're gonna talk about January because January was a problem for me. Quick side note. Now, MDL, or my drama list, does their ratings 1 through 10. And I have been following their ratings and using that on my blog for years, ever since I started it. And I kind of decided in 2024 that using the 10 scale rating, I was very lenient with some dramas. I didn't know, like, people have kind of learned that if I rated a 6 or a 7 in the 10 rating scale, that's low for me. And I think it's because I was very lenient. Like, I would say a drama I thought was pretty good was an 8. And I feel like I can do better with the 1 through 5 scale. So any drama minus Death's Game, because this episode is dropping with a review episode of Death's Game, and there I use the MDL rating scale. But moving forward, any rating I give on the podcast as well as my blog will be the 1 through 5 scale. So I don't talk about this in the blog post. Maybe I should add it, but in my podcast episode here with the wrapping up January dramas, I will also be giving my rating and then explaining why. So, going back to January, January was rough. I had a lot of stress in my life, and if you watched any part of my socials for this podcast and blog, especially the stories, you know how stressed I was. And as I explained on social media, if I hit a threshold with stress, I do not watch dramas. Do not ask me why. I don't know, because I use dramas to de-stress, but for some reason, once I get over a certain threshold, I do not watch dramas. I honestly don't know what I do because it seems like I'm not productive in any parts of my life until I de-stress myself somehow. But that's not watching dramas. So I'm currently behind on most of the dramas I am watching, and I also did not finish all the dramas I planned to finish in January. So February is going to be a busy month of me completing some dramas. But I did manage to still complete a fair number of them. It's on the low number for me. On average, I try to do like 5 to 6 completed dramas a month. it's very rare I like complete one drama. I have figured out, funnily enough, November has been consistently 1 to 2 dramas that I complete because I'm socially very busy in November and December of every month. And so for the past 3 years, I've only completed 1 drama in November. um January though usually is a good month for me. I would say January 2024 was an okay drama month for me. So overall, I completed technically 3 dramas, but Death's Game has 2 parts. So you could say 3, you could say 4, and then I also completed some variety content that I always watch. So let's get into what I completed. So the first one I would like to talk about is the Korean Drama Award shows. I have a tradition that every year at the start of a new year, the first thing I watch and complete, no matter what I'm currently watching, are the Korean award shows for the dramas. I have been doing this for 5 years now. This is my 5th year in a row that I've done this. I watch all 3 of the network award shows, which is NBC, KBS, and SBS. You can find them either on Amazon Prime or Viki. And I have 3 reasons why I do this. One is I like revisiting the dramas I loved from the year before. I like seeing I like watching the actors and actresses of those dramas interact again. I like seeing the dramas I love win the awards. Granted, obviously, I know that a lot of these award shows like don't make sense and are kind of just like another way for the networks to talk about their dramas, but it's fun. I don't mind watching it. My second reason is I like to see what network I've seen the most dramas from and like count that up. And I want to say I watched the most SBS Korean dramas this year. Let me quickly look that up. I want to say that was true. Yes, in 2023, I watched the most dramas for SBS. I did not count like how many of those I did watch, but SBS was the network I watched the most. And the last reason is all of these award shows show previews of what they're airing in the new year. So I always like to watch the award shows to see what they're coming out with and see new trailers that they release that night for the 2024, since it's New Year's 2024, for the 2024 dramas they plan. It's always fun because like some of them I've heard of before and some of them are like completely out of the blue. You also have some of the, depending on the award show, the people who are paired up in those dramas will present awards. So I always like looking at the new dramas that are coming out. You know me. So that is the first thing I completed in 2024. The second one, of course, is Death's Game Part 1 and Part 2. I won't go much into this because, again, I said that I released a separate podcast episode of my full review of this drama. And of course, I know a ton of other people have already talked about this drama. A lot of people loved it. So it's not very surprising what I say in my review whatsoever, but I will elaborate a little bit in this episode. So, Death's Game, Korean drama. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. I gave it on my new scale 1 through 5, it's a 5 for me. Like, it's not surprising that I love this drama. As I said, you can listen to my review in full detail of this drama, probably episode 2 of this podcast. But yeah, I absolutely love this. I know a lot of people feel the same way. It blew my mind. The acting was amazing. The story and writing was perfect. It's the kind of Korean drama that leaves an impression. And I was thinking about it for days afterwards. It just is such a good drama to start 2024 out with. And it definitely, let's hope, introduce the pace that 2024 is going to give us for Korean dramas. I might have just eaten my words. We'll see how the rest of 2024 goes. But Death's Game was definitely one to knock it out of the park in 2024. So the other two dramas that I completed were not as good as Death's Game, which might have been. No, I wouldn't say like I was going to say that it was might have been the issue was that I watched Death's Game first and then I'm comparing it to them, but no, that I don't think I try to not compare dramas if I can help it. I try to be as objective as possible, and I honestly don't think even if I hadn't watched Death's Game and finished Death's Game before these two dramas, I don't think my ratings would have changed. The next drama is The Mutations. It's a Chinese drama, and it was okay, right? So this type of drama actually you'd think is my thing, and it was in certain aspects. Like it's a thriller, it was historical, it has supernatural stuff, but as I will explain in a minute, it just did not work. So this drama, and I'm sorry if I butcher this drama stars Huang Xuan, Wu Yu, Sandrine Pina, Lei Fangsheng, Wan Shengdi, and a lot of other well-known Chinese actors for the most part. And if you don't know anything about this drama, it is essentially it takes place during the Ming Dynasty, and a mysterious epidemic breaks out on an island. So Huang Xuan's character goes and investigates pretty much. I'm trying not to give a bunch of things away, but he also has ulterior motives going this island essentially to search for his brother, who went there like 3 years prior. Anyway, so he gets there, he meets other people. You have this ensemble cast, and they try to figure out what's going on with this epidemic. I wanted this drama to be better. And I love when dramas take risks, and I will support any drama, any country who wants to do this to experiment and take risks with their dramas. And The Mutations took a lot of risks and experimented with his story. Some things I think worked out very well. Others not so much. And the acting and the actors did very well. I think the actors were doing the best they could with what the story gave them. The story just was not working. It wasn't really fleshed out as much as it could be. I think a lot of people, because I don't know if it was advertised like this or people just saw the trailer and assumed things, but I think people were expecting this to be like the Chinese version of Kingdom. And if you went into this drama thinking it was going to be that, your expectations were not met whatsoever. And I think you were very much disappointed in it, probably more than me, because I didn't have those expectations. But I heard a lot of people comparing it to, oh, this is going to be the Chinese version of Kingdom. And it wasn't. It really wasn't. Even the story couldn't be compared to Kingdom, honestly. And I don't know. The story just did not live up to what the trailer promised it to be. On my scale of 1 through 5, I gave this a 3.5. Like, it's okay. It, again, could have been better. It could have been a lot worse, though. It just, the story wasn't fleshed out. It kind of fell apart at the end. The CGI and special effects were inconsistent. Sometimes it was really good, and sometimes it wasn't. I feel kind of bad for this drama because it was a good idea and it could have been really different and really unique and could have stood out, but it just wasn't executed well. And the ending was very confusing. It just did not make sense. So I feel kind of bad because I wanted this drama to be good and it just was not good. It was okay. If you want to watch something unique and different, highly recommend. It could have been better, and it just was not the best drama out there. Same goes with my review of my next drama that I completed, and the last one I completed in January, and that is My Man is Cupid. You can watch this on Amazon Prime. It's a Korean drama. You know, if you've been reading my blog for any point in time or interacting with me on social medias, I love Jang Dun-yoon. I will watch him in anything. My Man is Cupid was actually something I was really I was hesitant to start because on the surface, it looked like it was going to be like a full-on romance drama. In reality, it kind of leaned very heavily into the crime aspect of it, which you did not see that in the trailer at all. So maybe that's why I stuck it out, because I loved the crime part of this drama. I thought it was done very well. But I know people who wanted romance dropped it because the crime kind of took over, and I will agree with that. Again, this Korean drama was just okay. Could have been a lot better. First, you could tell that the drama was made a couple years ago, and I don't know, for some reason it wasn't greenlit until this year, or technically December 2023 to air. So it seemed a little outdated. The story seemed a little outdated. The camera stuff, everything about it seemed a little outdated because it was written and made 2 or 3 years ago. I also saw no point in any of the side characters. They did not need to be there at all. I didn't care about the second romance. I didn't care about any of the Cupids. I understand why the cop was there, but really, he did not need to be there, honestly. There was just so much going on in the story with our main couple. They didn't really need the other people, and I really didn't see any point. They didn't explain some things, like why the Cupid was all the other Cupids living in this house were so mad at him. I didn't understand why that was, and even by the end, it wasn't really explained very well, other than the fact that they were stuck there. So I didn't understand why they were there. I liked the romance. I thought they were very cute together. I liked their chemistry. But as I said, I'll agree with a lot of other people. The romance was not the focal point of this drama, and it was very clear it wasn't. And there needed to be more, honestly. It took way too long for them to get together. And because of the crime stuff kind of took over, they only had a couple cute moments and cute episodes overall. So, yeah, I think the pacing was off. I think that allowed for the romance to kind of take a back seat because the pacing was weird and there were a lot of plot holes. Also, the drama used a lot of flashbacks, more than you would need. And I think every episode started with a repeat of what happened in the last episode. So the first 5 minutes was just what you just watched in the last episode. So this drama could have been 10 to 12 episodes and really would not have made a difference. So yeah, I think the only good parts about this drama was the crime stuff. If you like crime, our main couple, and what little romance you got. I thought the Cupid part and the fantasy part of the drama was a unique twist on Cupid and what you would assume society thinks Cupid is. But again, since there were a lot of plot holes, some of it wasn't really explained, in my opinion, very well or at all. So it was okay. The drama was okay. It could have been a lot better. I still enjoyed parts of it, but I understand why a lot of people dropped it. And that is all the dramas and all the shows I watched in January 2024. As I said, normally I would have watched a lot more. Oh, and if I didn't mention both The Mutations and My Man is Cupid, I gave it a 3.5 on my scale. MDL, I think I gave it a 7. But on my scale, I gave it a 3.5. All right, so now we're going to move on to the dramas that I'm excited for in February. And February, for one, with Korean dramas, there are not a lot of dramas coming out in February overall, which means I am not excited for a ton of dramas, Korean dramas, in February because there, one, was not a lot to choose from, and two, there's some that I kind of like, I'm definitely not watching. It just doesn't seem like my thing. So in February, I actually have a good variety when it comes to what I'm excited for from various countries, which normally I don't have because we all know with Chinese dramas, they kind of usually come out of nowhere. Usually do not have a premiere date except for if they're announced like maybe a week or two in advance. And then Japanese and Taiwanese and Thai dramas, sometimes you'll know if they're coming and sometimes you don't. So normally when I do these types of lists and say what I'm excited for in the coming month, they're mostly Korean dramas because usually we know most of the Korean dramas that drop in the coming month. February 2024 is not the case. We do know all the dramas currently that are coming in February of 2024. I'm not excited for most of them. There's a couple I am though. So there'll just be a lot of variety. And honestly, not having a lot of dramas coming in February is a blessing for me because, as I said, January was a horrible time for me to find watching dramas. So I have a lot of dramas to catch up on and finish anyway. So the fact that I don't have a lot of dramas I'm looking forward to in February is a good thing because then I can catch up on things and finish what I'm currently watching. So the first drama that I am excited for is a Chinese drama. Oh, and these are all listed as you guys may have noticed on all my blog posts. These are listed in terms of premiere date. Not in terms of what I'm most excited for or anything. I don't really do those types of rankings. But these are all going to be listed in terms of premiere date that I have. And all of these do have a premiere date. Sometimes I'll put in these lists like ones that are rumored or like I know might be in the month but don't know when. But normally they'll be like, this is going to premiere on February 2nd, so on and so forth. So the first is a Chinese drama, Amidst a Snowstorm of Love. It will be on Viki or WeTV/Tencent, and it's going to premiere February 2nd. If you are a watcher of Chinese dramas and you know, like, you follow what's going to come out, I'm sure you guys are not surprised this is on my list. Maybe you are because I normally don't talk about romance dramas a lot. So maybe you are a little surprised. I don't know. But I love both of these lead actors, Leo Wu and Zhao Jingmai. I've seen them in other dramas. I love them both for various reasons. And then also the cast, like the supporting cast, I've seen various members of the supporting cast and I like them too. So I'm checking this out specifically for the leads because I've never seen them work together. But I also am very curious about the synopsis of this for two reasons. One, I don't think I've ever heard of a Chinese drama that has snooker as a key focal point of the synopsis. I don't know. And honestly, I don't really like, I know what snooker is, but I don't even know like how popular it is in China. I don't think it's particularly popular here in the United States, but basically Leo Wu and Zhao Jingmai's characters meet abroad. I don't remember where, but meet abroad when they're stuck in a snowstorm one night. And they get to know each other and they both play snooker, I think. I know Leo Wu does. I think she is not a snooker player, but she plays another like pool-esque game. Oh, okay. The synopsis says 9-ball. I'm not really sure. I'm not up on the whole pool games thing, okay? So Leo Wu is a snooker player and Zhao Jingmai is a 9-ball player. They meet abroad and talk during a snowy night, and they get to know each other, and they fall in love and have this relationship. And I'm assuming snooker plays a key role in that. 2 reasons why I'm excited for this. Well, I just explained I like the leads. The other reason is we all know that sometimes dramas in general are very strategic on when they drop dramas. So normally, as a drama watcher, if it's winter outside and you want something to cuddle up on the couch with, normally you would go for a romance or one that takes a drama that takes place in the winter. So the fact that this is amidst a snowstorm of love and takes place during a snowstorm, it makes sense why a lot of people are looking forward to this in February, because it's the perfect one to watch during the cold months. And the stills and the trailers that come out for this drama, they look beautiful. We love a good snow scene. So I'm looking forward to this. I really am curious how Leo Wu's and Zhao Jingmai's chemistry is going to be. So yeah, that is one Chinese drama that I'm looking forward to. The next 2 dramas I'm going to talk about are Korean dramas. And I did mention this in another blog post of mine for the anticipated Korean dramas of 2024 that I released. So if you want more details of what I already have said on the blog, you can go to that blog post. It's linked in the wrap-up blog post that I have now on the blog. So I've talked about a couple of these dramas multiple times. First one I'm going to talk about is Branding in Seongsu. Sorry if I mispronounced that. It will be on Viki, and it's premiering February 5th. And I said in the anticipated K-dramas of 2024, I said there's 2 reasons why I'm looking forward to this drama. As I said, with the amidst the snowstorm Chinese drama I was just talking about, I know it's fairly rare. Not fairly rare. I've discovered I like romance dramas more than I thought, but I'm just very particular in the romance dramas that I like. And Branding in Seongsu has some of the tropes that I love. We have an office drama, which I always love a good office drama. We have a potential Nuna romance drama. I'm not really sure on the ages, but it looks like it could be a Nuna romance, which, again, we love. I also like the fact that, like, instead of the typical tropey, the male is the boss and the female is the secretary or intern or coworker type thing, it's the other way around. The female is the boss, and I think Loman, who's the male lead, I think he's the intern, I want to say. Yeah, he's the intern. So you have Loman, who you know from All of Us Are Dead. He plays an intern that works in this marketing agency and is kind of known for being the handsome intern that walks around. And he kind of has a nonchalant attitude where he kind of just goes around and does what he needs to do, but doesn't really take his job really seriously. And then you have Kim Ji-yoon, who you may know from, I want to say, The Veil. She was in The Veil, right? Yeah, The Veil. And again, my love. She is the opposite. She plays the boss. She's a workaholic, and she succeeds with every project she takes on. She's just a very, very uptight workaholic at this marketing agency. So to me, that kind of sounds that she's older. I could be wrong, but yeah. The other thing that makes me excited for this Korean drama is the supernatural, I guess, fantasy part, because as we saw in the trailer as well as in the synopsis, they somehow get entangled or whatever and end up swap bodies when they kiss or do something. Something causes them, and I think it's a kiss, an accidental kiss, that trope, to cause them to swap bodies. So now you have this workaholic boss lady in this intern that didn't really take working seriously, and vice versa. So then they have to figure it out. That sounds like a lighthearted, really fun drama. And again, with all those tropes I just listed, I'm at least going to check this one out. The next one that I've talked about is A Killer Paradox. It is a Korean drama that's going to be on Netflix February 9th. And again, I mentioned this in my anticipated K-dramas of 2024 blog post, as well as the wrap-up blog post. And at the time as I wrote anticipated Korean dramas for 2024, there was no poster or trailer for this. So I was just going off of what MDL had. So now, though, we have a poster. We got our first trailers. It looks great. It looks I know this is a weird thing to say. It looks fun in terms of a crime drama. And we all know with crime dramas, I am most definitely checking it out. As I said in the blog post, the cast is solid. We have a really, really nice cast. I mean, you have Choi Woon-sik, you have Sun Suk-kyu, we have Lee Hee-jun. I mean, it's a solid cast. And I'm excited to see Choi Woon-sik and Sun Suk-kyu like go at each other, because this is essentially a cat and mouse drama, as far as I can tell from the drama, like the synopsis and the trailer. Pretty much like whatever MDL says in the synopsis is Choi Woo-sik plays Lee Tong, who's a ordinary college student who is working this part-time job at a convenience store. And one night he's working and he gets in an argument with a customer and ends up basically killing him, but like not really intentionally doing it. He just happens to do it in the moment. And he learns later, apparently, according to the synopsis, that he killed a serial killer, and also realizes that he has a supernatural ability to identify bad people. So he becomes this person who goes around punishing people for evil stuff they've done in their past. And then Sun Suk-kyu is the detective that's running around trying to find him and trying to figure out. I mean, that just like, I don't know. I mean, I don't really, it sounds like it could be comedic, like dark humor, which is just something I really like sometimes in a crime drama. We all know these people can act, so I'm very excited for this. And just the added on part of him developing a supernatural, like, you not only have the guy who just killed a serial killer, which I'm sure is gonna be a focal point, at least at the beginning of the drama, but then you have the added bonus of a supernatural ability. I'm there. I love supernatural stuff when it comes to crime dramas, so I'm excited for that one. As I said, cast looks solid. All right, the two other dramas that I'm excited for in February are actually Japanese dramas. Technically, one of them is an American-made Japanese show, but I'm adding it anyway because MDL has a page for it. Both of them kind of came out of nowhere. Like, I didn't know about them until I saw something on social media, and then I got interested in them. So the first one is House of Ninjas. This is a Japanese drama that's coming to Netflix February 15th. I think I was skimming Instagram one day and I found like a poster of it. Like, it's not really advertised very much. Like, I don't think a trailer has even been released, but apparently it's coming February 15th. It says so on Netflix as well. It was announced back in 2022, and then we're now just seeing it in 2024. So Yeah, it's kind of just dropping out of nowhere. And the further I looked into Instagram, though, the lead actor has been releasing stuff on his Instagram while filming this. So you just had to know where it was coming from. um, but the cast looks fantastic. There's a lot of heavy hitters. If you watch any any kind of Japanese drama, you'll recognize multiple of these actors. Um, and it just looks so basically the synopsis, because again, we only have the synopsis of MDL and one poster. So the synopsis of MDL says, set in modern day Japan, House of Ninjas tells the story of Tawara family. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. The last ninja clan. It abandoned its roots after an incident in the past, but now the family must take on the greatest crisis in Japanese history, one that threatens to shake the nation to its core. That sounds intense. So basically, you have ninjas in modern time. I mean, what about that synopsis won't make you check it out? Like, I want to watch ninjas duke it out in modern Japan. But if you look at the poster, it gives me like gritty vibes. Like, this is going to be a dark and gritty drama. And I love Japanese dramas that do that. Like, Japan does crime dramas and gritty fighting dramas really well. So I'm just here for some badass fights and mystery, and I want some betrayal because ninjas sometimes can betray people. I mean, any crime drama has betrayal, but I'm excited for this one. I'm trying not to have expectations because again, we have never seen a trailer, so I don't know. But House of Ninjas coming to Netflix, I'm excited. And the last one is one that I again coming across it on Instagram. I kind of again was just scrolling and a clip or a trailer came up, I think, and I'm like, "Man, this looks gorgeous." And I didn't know it was a Japanese show. Technically it isn't. It apparently is American made, but it has a lot of prominent Japanese actors, and it sounds like it's mostly going to be in Japanese, except for some English speakers because there's some English characters that come in. Um, it's based off a really popular novel called Shogun. The show is Shogun. It's going to be on Hulu. It's coming February 27th. And this looks like if you go and watch a trailer, like do yourself a favor and go watch a trailer of this drama. Like it reminds me of like those epic show like Game of Thrones epic shows or Pachinko or like it's that type of vibe. And I just remember watching the trailer and being like, "Oh my god, this looks beautiful." I don't think I've ever watched a feudal historical Japanese show. Like, I know I've watched, obviously, like, Memoirs of a Geisha. I love that movie. It's a beautiful movie. It's a beautiful book. It's like that, but in a show. um, and so I'm very like, just from what I've seen in terms of the trailer, I'm very excited for it. In the synopsis on MDL, and yes, even though this is American made, apparently it still has a MDL page. Same with like Pachinko too. Also, if you have not seen Pachinko, you have to watch Pachinko. But Shogun is a set in feudal Japan in the 1600s, and Lord Yoshi Toranaga, who's played by Sanada Hiroyuki, is the strongest military commander in the Sengoku period. A British navigator named James Blackthorne comes bearing secrets that could save him from his predicament. And then you have so Blackthorne basically washes up on this island in Japan, and he apparently works alongside this lord, uh, trying to during this war that is happening in Japan. That's pretty much what I got from the synopsis. It looks gorgeous. It looks historical Japan. Like you have some heavy hitters when it comes to Japanese actors and actresses in this. Like if you've seen, like you have Anna Sawai. She was in Pachinko, did fantastic in Pachinko. Sanada Hiroyuki, you'll recognize. I mean, if you watch any type of J drama, you'll recognize multiple of these actors and actresses. Like it looks beautiful, and I can't wait. I don't even know, like, I can't even explain how beautiful this looked in the trailer. Even like the poster, if you go on MDL, it looks absolutely stunning. But yeah, I'm really excited to see a historical Japanese show, and I really hope it does well because again, it just looks beautiful and the cast is stacked with talent. Anyway, that is all I am looking forward to in February. It is variety. We have some Japanese dramas, we have some Korean dramas, we have a C drama. I always like a variety. But again, because there's not a lot I'm looking forward to, I hope to catch up on what I currently am watching and finish out some of the dramas that I should have finished in January. Yeah, so January was a slower month for me. February is, I'm hoping, will pick up a little bit, and I'm excited to see what I actually like and what I complete in February. So what did you complete in January? What are you looking forward to in February? I'm sure I listed some things that you did not know even existed, which I'm happy to always find for you guys. But yeah, what are you excited for February? What did you like that you completed in January? You can talk to me on social media. Let me know what you think of this episode or the other episodes that dropped with it today. Just contact me on social media. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're excited for. And thank you for listening to this episode. If you want to continue the conversations about dramas that were started in this episode, you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter under the username No Sleep for Dramas. That is No Sleep, the number 4 dramas, just like in the title of the podcast. This podcast is also an expansion of my blog, so you can visit my blog at www.nosleep4dramas.com, the number 4 dramas.com, and find multiple years of blog posts already available at your fingertips. All links are in the description of this episode. This has been an episode of the No Sleep for Dramas podcast, and I am your host, Caitlin. I will see you here next time, and I hope you get no sleep chasing the next episode just like me. Good night.